Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. It's time for us to look at the third Tarkir Dragonstorm deck. If you guys are not aware, we did a breakdown of the last two decks that got revealed, those being Jeskai Striker and Mardu Surge. 2 days ago now, they revealed the Sultai deck. Sultai, what is it actually called? Sultai Arisen, and we're going to look at it today. I'm aware I'm 2 days delayed to this one, so if you guys want to help out the channel, please comment what you think of it and give the video a thumbs up. It's going to help the algorithm since I'm a couple days late to actually posting this video. And also, I am competing with the professor. Who is the one who made a video breakdown of this one. So as you guys can see here, if you wanted a way more professionally done video, check out his video. But today I'm just kind of going to give you guys my thoughts on it. So far, Jeskai Striker looks pretty cool. Mardu Surge, not really my style of deck. So let's see what this one's all about. I haven't seen anything of this deck yet. So this is more of a reaction. I'm going to kind of look at all the cards and just give you guys my thoughts on what I think about it. And I'd love for you guys to tell me in the comments what you think as well. So let's get right into it here. The two commanders for this deck are Kotis, I hope I said that right, and Taval. So first thing up, the deck is going to be black, green, and blue for both the cards, except for the dragon here is going to have an additional cost. Let's see what they do. So, Kotis is a zombie. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a creature spell from your graveyard by exiling 3 other cards from your graveyard in addition to paying its other cost. So again, that means that basically your graveyard, you can bring them all back to zombies, but they're going to be an additional cost of exiling. So you're going to want to really dump as much things as you can into your graveyard so that you can bring them back and exile other cards to do it. Whenever one or more creatures you control enter, if one or more of them entered from a graveyard or was cast from a graveyard, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Kotis. So that is a really cool thing there that they're actually making it that it's not just bringing things back, but it's also making him stronger because he is fairly weak as a 3/3 commander. But I mean, as soon as you bring back one thing, he's a 5/5. That's going to get extremely strong very quickly. So I do like that. Let's look at what Taval does. He's a flying. Whenever Taval attacks, you can mill 3 cards. So again, you can already see the combo between the 2 cards there. And then you may return a land from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. So you're going to help with a ramping by getting additional lands every turn that he's attacking, which is good too. Whenever one or more card leaves your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. So first thoughts are, seems like a really basic zombie deck. I'm kind of surprised that we're getting this specifically because Aether Drift, which was the last set we got, also had a zombie deck in it. I don't remember the official name, but I actually just played it last night. The Mummy Zombie Dude, which is a really fun deck. I actually enjoyed that deck a lot, but it is also just a mill cards, bring back from the graveyard zombie. So very similar. So I'm a little surprised we're getting 2 of them basically back to back. But let's actually look at the breakdown and what the cards are. So first things first, the mana cost here, mana count, sorry, looks like it's a lot of 2s and 3s. 2, 3s, and 4 are the high costs here. Not too many high costs and not too many cheap ones, actually. Only 5 cards that cost 1. But everything else are 2, 3s, and 4s. And then 5 and up is kind of a mix here. When it comes to the actual colors, we're getting 8 blue, 20 black, and 19 green. Okay, so it's going to be very much a ramp and like a green, which is a lot about ramping, and black, which has a lot of like graveyard stuff. So blue, I'm going to guess, is probably just a couple of like counter spells maybe. And then we have 13 multicolor. When it comes to the types of cards, a lot of lands, lots of creatures, which is good because you're going to want to bring them all back all the time. Not as many sorceries, enchantments, spells, or artifacts, and it does not look like we're getting any planeswalker, but we'll check that in a second. So obviously the lands, I'm going to guess, command, black, dual color, yeah, the usual, a bit of everything, and we're getting 6 forests, 5 swamps, 4 islands. Okay, so on the lands type, it's basically similar to the last 2 decks we saw. Let's go through all the creatures first, and then we'll look at kind of the other stuff. So we looked at Taval, looked at Kotis, Diviner of Mist. That's a really cool art. I like that one a lot. This is a dragon flying, and then we are gonna see. I don't know why, but in the last video of Mardu Surge, I didn't realize while recording, and then I saw the comments, and you guys all mentioned how there weren't a lot of dragons. And now thinking back, I'm like, you're right. For a Dragonstorm deck, not many dragons in that deck. So let's see if this one has a little bit more. Obviously, Taval is already 1. Diviner's a second one, so we at least have 2. So let's see here. Whenever this creature attacks, mill 4 cards. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard with mana value 4 less without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. So that's really good. You get to do a lot with this one dragon. Floral Evoker, Snake Druid. I like the art on this one. 2 and a green. Has landfall, so whenever a land you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Again, very confused as to why some cards have this creature and other cards still have the full name. I'm going to guess it's the difference between reprints and new cards, but someone could probably tell me and confirm in the comments down below. Steward of the Harvest. Whenever this creature enters, exile up to 3 target land cards from your graveyard. Creatures you control have all activated abilities of all lands exiled with this creature. Oh, wow. That is really strong. That's just a rare. Wow, that's a really cool card. Colossal Grief Reaver. There's another dragon. We're at 3 now. It's an 8 cost. Flying. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, mill 3 cards. Fantastic. Whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from your library, put one of them onto the battlefield. Ooh, that's a really expensive card, but I can see why. That is an insanely good one. Gravecrawler, just a regular zombie here. Can't block. You may cast this card from your graveyard as long as you control a zombie. Amphid Mutineer, Salamander Pirate. That's cool. Okay, so far I really like the art and the characters we're getting in this deck. Oh my god, that's so written small. Whenever this creature enters, exile up to 1 target non-salamander creature. That creature's controller creates a 4/3 blue salamander warrior creature token. Okay, so that's pretty simple. And then it has an encore, which is exile this card from your graveyard. For each opponent, create a token copy that attacks that opponent this turn. If able, they gain haste. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only the sword for this turn. Okay, pretty cool. River Kelpie. Beast. Oh, girl, that's nasty. Whenever this creature or another permanent enters from a graveyard, draw a card. And whenever a player casts a spell from a graveyard, draw a card. And then it has persist. Very good. Dothy Voidwalker. I've seen this one a couple times. Has shadow. And if a card would be put into your opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile it with a void counter on it. Then you can tap and sacrifice this creature. Choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a void counter on it. You may play it this turn without paying its cost. That's really cool. I like that card a lot. Disciple of Bolas. So again, we're still just at 3 dragons with this deck. When this creature enters, sacrifice another creature and you gain life and draw cards where X is that creature's power. So that's really good if you sacrifice a big cost. Junji, that's dragon number 4. And wow, love the art on this one. A mythic dragon too, thank God. Flying and Menace. When he dies, you choose one. Each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life, or put a target non-dragon creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control and you lose 2 life. That is 10 out of 10. Man, I'm really liking the style of this deck. Lord of the Forsaken. Oh, look at this dude. Flying and Trample. Sacrifice another creature. Target player mills 3 cards. Pay 1 life. Add a colorless. Spend this mana only to cast a spell from your graveyard. It's a 6/6. Necropolis Fiend, Delve, and Flying. X and tap or exile X cards from your graveyard. That target creatures get -X until end of turn. 6. So that's a really high cost. A 9 cost. This is the big one of the deck. Noxious Gearhulk, Menace, and when this creature enters, you may destroy another target creature. If a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. Ooh, that's really good. Ob Nixilis the Fallen, another demon here with landfall, always good. Every time it enters, you may have a target player lose 3 life, and if you do, put 3 +1/+1 counters on Ob Nixilis. That's a strong card. Yeah, okay, it is a mythic. That makes a lot more sense. Tassigur the Golden Fang, God, he's ugly. A human shaman with Delve as well, and 2 green or blue twice. Mill 2 cards, then return a non-land card of an opponent's choice from your graveyard to your hand. Woo Strider, I've seen this one as a common, not a common, but I think he was in Duskborn a lot. I feel like I pulled him a lot in boosters. When this creature enters, create a 0/1 white goat creature token. You can sacrifice another creature to scry 1, and he has escape, which lets him come out from the graveyard. This creature escapes with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Avenger of Zendikar, another really common card that I've seen a couple times before. When this creature enters, create a 0/1 green plant creature token for each land you control. That's going to be really good, especially with a ramp deck like this. And it has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on every plant you have. Nice. We're gonna have to see how many plants are in. Well, I guess all the plants that he creates. Multani Yevi Maya's Avatar. That's a cool looking Groot dude. Reach Trample. Multani gets +1/+1 for each land you control and each land card in your graveyard. Oh my god. And then 1 in green, return 2 lands you control to their owner's hand. Return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Dang, that's a really good card. Shigeki. Dude, this guy looks sick. The snake dude. Return to its owner's hand. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped. And then he has, is that Charmed? 2 double X and 2 green. Discard this card. Return X target non-legendary card from your graveyard to your hand. And that's a really good one too. Wow, the cards are... I'm pretty impressed with this deck, I'd say, overall, when it comes to what they can do. Consuming Aberration, a little horror dude here. This creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your opponent's graveyard. Whenever you cast a spell, each opponent reveals cards from the top of the library until they reveal a land. They then put those cards into their graveyard. Damn, so this guy's just going to get really strong very quick. Then we got Gerard here. Golgari Lich Lord, sorry. Gerard gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. Sacrifice another creature. Each opponent loses life equal to the sacrificed creature's power. Oh my god. What is with this deck? This seems really strong when you compare it to the last two. This creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in all graveyards. What? That's so good. Marin of... I guess it's like... I mean, it's good if you're playing like multiplayer, I guess. Maybe 1v1, I can see some people being like, yeah, it's not that strong in a 1v1. But in a 4-player game, that seems really strong. Lord of Extinction. Okay, that's what we just looked at. Marin of Clan Neltoth. This one has dragon on it, but it's not a dragon card. Whenever another creature you control dies, you get an experience counter. At the beginning of your end step, choose a target creature card in your graveyard. If that card's mana value is less than or equal to the number of experience counters you have, return it to the battlefield. Or otherwise, put it into your hand. Damn. Hedron Crab. So again, not as many... Let me just check here. Dragons. Do we have any more dragons? There were just 4 in here. Which is, I think, still more than the last one. Yeah, so 4 dragons in total for this deck. Kind of wish there was a bit more. And, aim for that 6-7. But we'll see with the next ones. Hedron Crab here has Landfall, Wonder, Flying. As long as this card is in your graveyard and you control an island, creatures you control have Flying. That's good. Reassembling the Skeleton. Return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Stitcher Supplier. When this creature enters or dies, mill 3 cards. Pretty simple. Kishla Skimmer. Love the art on this one. Flying, and whenever a card leaves your graveyard during your turn, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn, but that's still a really good one for... It's a pretty cheap one. How much was that? Just a blue and a green. Sakura Tried Elder. I love this dude. Sacrifice this creature, search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Then we got Satyr Wayfinder. I've seen this one a couple times before. When this creature enters, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them into your hand, put the rest into your graveyard. Springbloom Druid. When this creature enters, you may sacrifice a land. If you do, search your library. So, again, these are all like the common, simple stuff. Creature enters, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. Nyx Weaver, Reach. Beginning of your upkeep, mill 2 cards. Skull Prophet, tap for land. Okay, so it's a creature that you tap for land. Sorry about that. And Millikin, it's an artifact creature. Mill a card and add a colorless. There you go. So overall, I will say, first thoughts on the creatures alone, this is probably the deck that seems the most fun for me. I'd love to know what you guys think on the creature side. Again, I think that if I were to rank them just on the creatures, this is definitely most exciting. I feel like the combos are really good and fun. I'd put Jeskai at number 2 and Mardu 3 at the moment. My only thing with this deck, and it's not this deck's fault, it's the fact that we just got a zombie deck from Aether Drift. I feel like if Aether Drift had an actual racing commander deck instead of having the 2 weird, not Aether Drift themed deck that we got, this one would be so much more exciting. But again, because I just got myself a zombie graveyard milling type deck, kind of lame to get 2 in a row. So Well, let's keep going here, but I do actually think it's a really, really good deck so far. Enchantments, there's only 3. Tival's Judgment. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. You can either draw a card, get a treasure, or create a zombie druid. Simple. I love it. Phyrexian Reclamation. Spend 1 in black and pay 2 life. Return a target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Excellent. And Crawling Sensation. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may mill 2 cards. Whenever 1 or more lands are put into your graveyard from anywhere for the first time each turn, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. That's awesome. I wish this card was create a plant instead of an insect, just so that there's a little bit more synergy with the plant dude. This guy, that the landfall would make the plants stronger. Again, I complained a bit with the Mardu Surge that there was too many different things. I feel like this one, not as crazy as the Mardu, but I do wish there was a little bit more synergy. Like, I know it's probably, this card is probably like a reprint or something, and it was never plants, it was always insect, but it just doesn't work with the Zendikar card, which I wish it did. When it comes to instant, we only have 7 here. Lethal, let's see if it has any... let's see if this deck has any board wipes like the others do. Convoke, pretty simple there. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Each creature that convoked this spell connives, draws a card, then discard a card. Okay. Forbidden Alchemy. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest in your graveyard. So that's really good with the rest. And has flashbacks, so you can play it from your graveyard, I think. Grapple with the Past. Mill 3 cards, and you may return a creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. Harrow, as an additional cost, is sacrifice a land. Search your library for up to 2 basic lands and put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Tear Asunder, Kicker, exile target artifact or enchantment. If the spell was kicked, exile target non-land permanent instead. So you can exile like a creature your opponent controls. Grizzly Salvage, reveal the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature or land card from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. And then Putrefy. Destroy target artifact or creature. It can't be regenerated, so that's just a one-off kill. Artifact-wise, only 3 here. May play lands from your graveyard. That's stellar, because with the kind of deck, that's a really, really important one, so I see why it's there. Essence Anchor. Jesus, my French is coming out, I'm sorry. At the beginning of your upkeep, survey 1, and then you can create a zombie druid creature token. Activate only during your turn and only if a card left your graveyard this turn. And then we got the Arcane Signet and Soul Ring like the others do. So now we have to look at the sorceries, see if any of them have any board wipes here. Delve. And then for each player, choose up to 1 target creature card in that player's graveyard. Put those cards onto the battlefield under your control. Oh my god, I love it. And it's an 8 cost. And then they are zombies additional to the other types. Welcome the Dead. Draw 2 cards, discard a card, pay 2 life. Create X tap 2/2 black zombie druid creature tokens, where X is the number of cards that were put into your graveyard from your hand or library this turn. Oh my god, that is an insane card. For this kind of deck, that's really strong. Will of the Sultai. Choose 1. If you control a commander as you cast a spell, you may choose both. Target player mills 3 cards. Return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. All lands. Return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Oh my god. And the other one is put X +1/+1 counter on target creature, where X is the number of lands you control. It gains trample until end of turn. Ooh, wow. Life from the Loam. Return up to 3 target land cards from your graveyard to your hand, and then dredge 3. Casualties of War. This is probably some kind of board wipe here. Choose 1 or more. Destroy target artifact, creature, enchantment, land, and planeswalker. You can destroy a land with this card. Living Death. Each player exiles all creature cards from their graveyard, then sacrifices all creatures they control, then puts all cards they exile this way onto the battlefield. Oh, I love that. Necromantic Selection. Destroy all creatures. There you go. Then return a creature card from your... put into a graveyard this way to the battlefield under your control. It's a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Exile this card after. Okay. Wow. That's good. So you wipe the board, but you keep 1 creature of your choice. Right? A creature card. So it could be someone else's card too. So that's really good. Treasure Cruise. 7 in the blue. Each card you exile from your graveyard while casting this may pay for 1. Okay, draw 3 cards. That's really good. Victimize. Choose 2 target creature cards in your graveyard. Sacrifice a creature. If you do, return the chosen cards to the battlefield tapped. Cultivate. Search your library. Okay, that's just common stuff. Far Seek. Search your library for a plains, island, swamp, or mountain card and put it. Okay. And Rampant Growth. Search your library for basic land. There you go. And here are all the tokens super quick. Plants and goats and insects. The zombie druid. I like the art for the druid. I love this. That's sick. The salamander warrior. Insect or basic. Let's see what's on the back of these ones. Treasure. Timeless witness. Very good. And then the XP to keep track of and the treasure. Man, I gotta say, this deck, first thought, now having gone through it all, seems really strong. Like, if I were to put the 3 decks, and again, someone's probably going to tell me I'm very wrong. That's okay. As a newish player who doesn't play super competitive, I am very casual when it comes to playing Magic. I'm much more on the collecting side. These combos are awesome. I really want to play this deck. Of the 3 we've seen so far, this is the most exciting one. Again, it's just so similar to my most recent deck that I bought. That's the only flaw, and it's not this deck's fault. These two seem to have synergy together, and the deck has a lot of synergy with the graveyard and with the ramping. The biggest thing is, I do feel like this, if you're going to upgrade this deck, and I don't know what I'm talking about, the first thought that came to mind is I would need more card draws, because I felt like there wasn't enough things about drawing cards, specifically because if I'm going to be sacrificing, milling, discarding, and playing cards, I feel like I'm going to run out of cards in my hand, and then I won't be able to actually pull off all the combos. So I feel like it might be missing a bit of card draws. But outside of that, wow, what a great deck. Especially if you pull some of those, like, play from your graveyard early and all that, that's going to be really good. Looking at the 2 commanders, again, now that we've read the cards, once during each of your turns, you may cast a creature spell from your graveyard by exiling 3 other cards from your graveyard in addition to paying its other costs. And whenever one more creature you control enters, this guy gets stronger. And then on the other side, whenever Taval attacks, mill 3 cards, then you may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tap whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard. If I feel like Taval seems like the better fit. First thought is Taval seems like a better fit as a commander that I would want to play first. I'd want to try both, obviously. I just feel like this guy, the biggest concern is because you're exiling cards, he's going to get weaker long term. He's going to be really strong at the start because you're going to be able to put a lot of stuff in your graveyard, bring a lot of things back. But if you spend too much time in a game, you're going to end up exiling so much that you're not going to have that much left to play with. Whereas this guy just lets you get more lands on the board, ramp up a lot of stuff, and then you'll just be able to use the lands to and your cards to play and bring things back from the graveyard. So Taval seems like the better commander right away. Those are my thoughts. I'll probably go and actually watch Talarian's video after this and see what he thinks, because he's way better than this at me. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back tomorrow for Absent Armor. I'm pretty sure is the next one. Let me confirm that. Let's scroll up here. This was Jeskai. Absent Armor is March 24th. Yeah, so tomorrow we're looking at Absent Armor, and then Tuesday will be the last one, which is Temur Roar. So make sure to subscribe because we're going to talk about those 2 videos in the next couple days. We then have a couple like random videos, some booster battles. We'll chit chat here and there, and I'll do a couple videos. And then next week, we will, fingers crossed, receive these on time. And if we do, you will be getting unboxing of all 5 of these commander decks. So you will actually get to see what comes in it, in like the actual cards themselves. And then we will have some reviews of all 5 decks, because I'm planning a whole weekend where I plan, my friends and I have booked a weekend. They're all coming over, and we're going to play every single one of these decks, and then we'll give you guys all of our thoughts. We're all going to give you guys our rankings. So you'll actually get to hear from 5 different people what they thought on all 5 decks. So make sure to subscribe. Let me know what you think. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.